Alright. Fine. We're ready. I prepared myself somewhat. From then on, Matsumoto-sensei visited the compound regularly to check up on the men of the Shinsengumi. I had been sent a link of the 8-bit drummer. I just noticed that. Oh god. Ever since Sanon-san had become the leader of the Furies, the group was named as the Fury Corps. Still, I couldn't help but wonder, was it really alright to continue researching the Furies? My heart was heavy with worry. Without him, the Shinsengumi would be nothing. We would cease to exist. If so, why? (1866) October. After the dust cleared following the Hamagure rebellion, the shogun set about cleaning house. The Chosu expedition was launched by the shogun once the Chosu domain were declared enemies of the court. Perhaps feeling they dodged a bullet, the Chosu domain fell silent for a time. Their audience was short-lived, however, and before long their disrespect for the shogun became impossible to ignore. In order to investigate further, the shogunate decided to send an envoy to the Chosu domain. Kondo-san was asked to accompany the envoy sent to the Chosu to investigate their behavior. However, the Chosu domain refused to even meet with the envoy. Fed up with their insubordination, the shogunate ordered the second Chosu expedition. However, the war was a costly one, exhausting both the resources and the men from all over the domains whose morale began to falter. To add to the fire, word of Shogun Iemochi's passing shook all of Japan, and some domains even withdrew, which made the situation even dire. The second Chosu expedition had ended in a surprisingly major loss for the shogunate troops. October 1866. The pillar of the Tokugawa shogunate, which stood strong for 260 years, was beginning to show signs of instability. That day, I was accompanying Saito on his rounds. We know what this scene is. It sure has been hot lately, as I get traumatized by cicadas once again. Oh, thank God they're gone. I've gotten used to the city of Kyoto, but I just couldn't get used to this humid heat.
そうだな。
I've always wondered. Even in the midsummer, Saito always wore his full uniform. Wasn't he hot? He kept his vigilant guard up while observing the city of Kyoto.
ひとまずあそこの店から回ることにするか。雪村、あんたは店の前で待っていろ。共に来ても手持ち無沙汰だろう。
All right. He gave me a short nod of confirmation and stepped into the shop with his men.
新選組だ。先日、浪人風の男が出入りしていたという噂を耳にした。戦議させてもらう。
I've been waiting for Saito and his division for a few minutes when I noticed a commotion nearby.
てめえら道を開けやがれ。金能の獅子様がお通りだ。
A number of rather unpleasant-looking ronin were making their way in my general direction, yelling, threatening, and intimidating anyone unfortunate enough to cross their path. Patriots? Hardly. Perhaps they consider themselves loyal to the imperial court, but they look like the sort of who only use their supposed patriotism as an excuse to steal and kill.
ほら、邪魔だって言ってんだろ。
The ronin tossed a poorly aimed kick at a child playing in the street. What should I do? It seemed like the warriors were preoccupied with their investigation in the store. Just as I was about to stop the ronin,
やめなさいよ、みっともない。
あ？なんだてめえは。たかが女が俺たち勤王の志士に意見するってのか。
そのたかが女に意見されることをみっともないと思いなさいよ。今日の人がどれだけ迷惑してるのかわからないの？
乗れ。
The man's obviously short fuse had been lit. He made a grab for the girl and missed. I suspected his next attack wouldn't be as inaccurate. I couldn't let that happen. Wait! When I had come to my senses, I noticed that I had instinctively taken action. I had positioned myself in front of the girl, protecting her.
なんだお前は。その女の知り合いか。
No, I don't.
知り合いじゃねえんならすっ込んでろ。
Flecks of spit flew from his mouth as he roared at me, and my legs suddenly felt somewhat weaker than they had a moment ago. We got some jelly legs. But I was committed. I couldn't run now. If you truly love your country as you say, then why do you abuse women and children? A samurai should protect common people, not attack them.
なんだと。
そうだそうだ、いいぞお兄ちゃん。獅子気取りの不定老師め、今日からさっさと出ていけ。
Something about my speech must have struck a chord with the gathering crowd. With the cheers, my legs started to regain some of their usual steadiness. We no longer have jelly legs.
くっそ、バカにしやがって。
With a rough hiss of metal, the Ronin's sword leapt from its scabbard. I suddenly discovered I had difficulty swallowing. I could try to dodge, but if I did, he might hit the girl my actions had intended to protect. I was about to draw my sword. Huh? Slowly, carefully, I opened my eyes. I really need that sound effect. I need that sound effect because it's a person falling, and I don't have a good sound effect for people falling.
安心しろ、峰内だ。
Saito-san!
貴様。
そいつを屯所に連れて行け。長州の残党かもしれん。
はい。
Working quickly, Saito's men set to work binding the Ronin for transport. Saito-san's cold eyes fell on me.
何故俺を呼ばなかった。万が一のことがあったらどうするつもりだったのだ。
I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. But I couldn't help myself. I mean, what if she were to get injured?
怪我なんてしないわよ。まったくもう無茶しちゃって。
A scolding from Saito-san I expected, but I hadn't thought that my erstwhile damsel in distress would contribute. I'm sorry I made you worry. I gave her a short, slightly confused bow, to which she blinked as if suddenly remembering something very important.
あ、でも私あなたに助けてもらったのよね。まだお礼を言ってなかったわ。ありがとう。
Oh, well, I didn't do anything. It was Saito-san and his men who made the actual arrest.
別に謙遜なんてしなくていいのに。見て見ぬふりをするよりはずっと立派だったんだから。これも何かの縁だし、女の子同士仲良くしましょうね。
What? Saito-san glanced from her to me, and an expression flashed across his face that I couldn't quite place.
見る者が見ればわかることだ。動揺するな。
あら、 もしかして内緒だったの？まずかったかしら。
Well, I wasn't entirely sure how to respond. How does a person respond to that sort of question? She seemed to sense my confusion and gracefully moved on.
あ、ところでまだお名前を聞いてなかったわね。これも何かの縁ですもの。教えてくれるかしら。
Well, this is...
そちらの方は斉藤さんよね。新選組は有名だもの。知ってるわ。で、あなたの名前は？
My name is Chizuru Yukimura. It's nice to meet you.
雪村。
Her eyes grew wide as if she were surprised, and she stared intently at me.
あなた、雪村って姓なの？生まれは東国？
Why, yes. I was living in Edo, but I had come to Kyoto for a certain reason. She was acting a little strange, so I tried to speak to her, and she laughed and looked up.
ごめんなさい、なんでもないの。知り合いと同じ姓だったから。雪村ってすごく綺麗な名字ね。
You think so? Thank you.
よろしくね。私のことはセンって呼んで。
Sen-san, nice to meet you.
なんか水臭いわね。見たところ同い年ぐらいだし、そんなにかしこまらなくていいわよ。
So just Sen, then.
まあいいわ。そう呼んでちょうだい。じゃあまた会いましょうね。
She gave my hand a gentle squeeze, then turned and left, her kimono flapping behind her. Our encounter was over before I had a chance to grasp what was even happening, so I simply stood stunned for a moment or two. Saito was eyeing Sen walking off, and eventually he turned to me.
あの娘、あんたの性が気にかかっている様子だったが。
I know, huh? She did say it was the same as her acquaintances. Well, I guess Yukimura isn't an uncommon name either. Saito is thinking. It seemed like Saito was concerned with her reaction to my name, and he was deep in thought.
予定からだいぶ遅れてしまった。そろそろ行くことにするか。
Oh, yeah. So we continued on our rounds, trying to withstand the scorching heat. Ah! Oh no. It's this scene. Alright, that's good. The heat wave ended up lasting several days. On one such day,
雪村先輩、お茶はこんな感じでいいんでしょうか？
it's maybe better to make them lukewarm. It's still quite hot today, you know.
お、なるほど。さすがです。
This young man is Kazue Soma. He joined the Shinsengumi just before summer began. He's very serious and respectful. We will get to him at some point if the wheel picks him. Alright? Kondo-san supposedly met him when he was in Chosu for the envoy, and he invited Soma to join us. Now he currently works as Kondo's page. I guess he grew fond of the Shinsengumi, and he was focused on learning about all that it takes to become a successful warrior.
じゃあ水で薄めりゃいいんじゃないか？
But if you do that, then the tea's flavor would become lighter.
そうか。なあ相馬、どうすりゃいいんだ？
井戸水で冷やしてみるのはどうだ？
おお、そいつはいいな。やってみようぜ。
This energetic lad is Risaburo Nomura. He joined the Shinsengumi around the same time as Soma and because of the closeness in age, Nomura became Kondo's page in training. Therefore, Kondo-san has 2 pages! I suppose it's appropriate if he's the chief of the Shinsengumi. For him, he was a huge fan of the Shinsengumi, and he joined them because of it. That left me to make sure that I teach them about all the duties and responsibilities that go into becoming a page. Which is harder than I thought. The tea doesn't have to be room temperature, just a little cooler to offset the hot weather. So first, prepare some warm water rather than boiling hot, and then try brewing it. That way, it doesn't dilute the tea's flavor.
おお、すげえ。なるほどな。先輩胡椒は伊達じゃないぜ。
Damn, I wish Nomura was a root.
本当に勉強になります。
Thanks? Well, as for the tea, I'll pour some and take it to them, so you two...
俺たちは何ですか？何でもやりますよ。
ええ、何でも言ってください。
They're puppies. They're puppies. As far as I've heard, Soma is much more of a puppy, though. That's what I've heard.
よーし、お前らは今から俺と剣術稽古だ。どうした？やりたくないのか？
はい、お願いします。
いやー、俺はちょっと仕事が。
おいおい、新人が遠慮なんかするなよ。
野村、諦めろ。これも立派な大使になるための試練だ。
試練っていうか、あれはしごきだろ。
そんじゃあ、ちょっくら二人を借りていくぜ。
Okay, please take care of them. Please don't break them, as we will say every time we find this scene. Because I feel bad for the boys. I can only imagine Nagakura's training is intense. So, don't break them. Soma gulped deeply and he looked nervous. Nomura, on the other hand, looked ready to cry as Nagakura dragged both of them off to training. I wish the two of them the best of luck. Here's some parched barley tea, Kondo-san. Supposedly it lowers the body's temperature. Right, I was supposed to look into this. I forgot all about it.
ありがとう。雪村くんの入れてくれたお茶は飲みやすくてちょうどいいな。
Thank you. He was deep in thought, arms crossed and stern. Things were bad since Lord Imochi's death. Kondo-san especially was having a difficult time. Perhaps it was best if I simply left him alone. I turned and had already begun to walk away when he spoke.
今、掃除を松本先生に見せてるんだ。
Did he know about Okita's illness? Ah, here's the change in this scene. What did he say?
まだなんとも重病でなければいいのだが、もし掃除の身に何かあったら、あの人に申し訳が立たんからな。
Her?
今日に来る前、掃除の姉のミツさんからくれぐれもよろしく頼むと言われていてな。
Oh, Okita has an older sister?
ああ、両親を早くに亡くしているから、ミツさんが親代わりとなって掃除を育てたんだよ。
Ah, I see. Okita seems to have been through a lot.
まあ、あいつは素直で前向きだからな。苦労したとは思っていないだろうが。
あの根性曲がりを相手にそんなことを言えるのは、日の本博士といえどあんたぐらいだと思うぜ。
Thank you, Hijikata. Oh, Hijikata-san.
お、トシ、どうしたんだ？一緒に麦湯でも飲むか？
いや、麦湯は別にいらねえが、三条大橋に建てられてる生殺のことを知ってるか？
ああ、知っているとも。長州の罪状を記した札のことだろう。
ああ、あの生殺を引き抜いて鴨川に捨てたバカがいるらしい。
無論その話は聞いている。だがその政察は後日立て直されたんじゃなかったのか？
そいつがまた引き抜かれちまったそうだ。そろそろ俺たちに声がかかるんじゃねえか。
以前札が引き抜かれたのは確か夜中だったな。であれば三男君の羅刹体を使ったらどうだ？
羅刹体か。
何か引っかかることでもあるのか？
あいつらは確かによく働いてくれるが、やりすぎなんだよ。どんな役目につけても関わったものを全て皆殺しにしてきちまう。しかもそれだけじゃ飽き足らねえ。元の形をとどめねえくらい死体をバラバラに切り刻んだりしやがる。新選組の仕業だと気づかれねえようにするためとはいえ、ありゃいくらなんでもやりすぎだ。新選組は人殺し集団じゃねえ。死体で遊ぶのはやめろといくらいさめても治らねえ。あれじゃ辻斬り連中と変わらねえ。
I felt a shiver shake down my spine as he spoke. Even after a year, I remembered with terrifying clarity that I'd seen what I'd seen when I first arrived in Kyoto, the Furies. They'd behave as if possessed by evil spirits, their swords mercilessly hacking away at dead men. It hadn't been hatred or fear that drove them, but some sort of twisted amusement. I didn't think I'd ever forget the half-mad smiles each had worn.
ま、いくつか手を考えてみるか。
そうだな。細かいことは都市に任せるよ。ところで、この間聞いたところによると、将軍後見職の一橋慶喜公がだな。
あの人か。家康公の再来なんて言われてるそうだな。確かに頭はいいのかもしれねえが。
Before long, they'd started to discuss politics I didn't understand, and I politely excused myself.